Yeah, Weege show coming your way from my office. I'm back to going upstairs, 1 week out of surgery. Cannot believe how much progress I've made. Cannot believe how good modern medical science is. Probably not going to be riding a motorcycle for a while or playing basketball again with my kid. But I feel pretty good and I can walk around and I can go up and down the steps. So I'm back in my office. But I assumed I would not be able to fly, so I wasn't going to Salt Lake City for the Monster Energy AMA Supercross Finals. But we sent our man Kellen Brower out there, so if you're watching the Weege show back at the beginning of the year with the Weege show, we will bring that back and get you the scoop from Rice-Eccles Stadium on a Friday in just a moment. First, tip of the visor, of course, to our sponsor, the Honda CRF 250R, lighter, faster, and stronger, and still possibly a two-time Supercross champion this year, because Jet Lawrence said he would help his brother Hunter try to win a title against Christian Craig. Kellen Brower will have more on that in just a moment. Yeah, so the big story here, though, on this Friday is this. Well, first there was a press conference, and Eli Tomac talked a bit about the knee injury that he had. He will not race this weekend as he tries to heal up and get his knee ready to go race Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. Eli and I have a lot in common. We're both warriors, both plan on being there at round one despite the knee injury. My injury is actually worse than his, but all I got to do is sit like this, so I guess my job isn't quite as taxing. Where was I? Yes, this is the perfect opportunity for Jason Anderson to go out and win 4 in a row. I stuck my neck out early in the year and said we will have 5 winners in Supercross this year. It's holding strong to the last round. With Tomac out, we are down to just Anderson, Musquin, and Sexton as the winners this year. Can somebody else do it? Justin Barcia, Malcolm Stewart, probably top of the list. Can they get it done? We've seen weird things happen at series finales. Also, a big moment. We had a full Weege show earlier this week interviewing Justin Brayton. This will be his final AMA Supercross race. Just stating facts here. Not emotional about it. And the big thing I cannot believe happened is that Steve Matthes, who has been collecting raffle tickets to win a Yamaha 450 motorcycle the last couple of years and taking all the raffle money and putting it into a pot and paying privateers, this year took it to another level. Now, in the past, what Matthes has done is created point standings based on 5th in the LCQ, first rider to come up just short of making the show would get top points, first place points in Matthes' standings, and 6th in the LCQ would get 2nd, and Matthes would keep tabs on those points all year long and hand out money at the end of the year. Last year they had $70K in a pot, awesome for privateers. This year I was doing the PulpMX show in Vegas with Matthes earlier in the season, and he said he wanted to have a cat in his lap and an evil laugh and have these privateer riders perform for him and also try to disrupt Feld's polished and professional Supercross program as much as possible, and somehow Feld relented and said, yes, you can do it. We'll give you a race Friday in Denver. And the motocross gods said, no, you can't let Steve Matthes get involved in Supercross, so they brought in a hellacious windstorm in Denver and canceled the race last weekend. And Feld made the mistake of running it again this week. And the Moto gods couldn't create a blizzard at altitude at Salt Lake, so indeed that race happened, and Chiz is going to Chiz. He was a wild card entry that let him start in the back row, and as soon as he was up to 6th at the end of lap 1, you knew what he was going to do. Win the race, and that's what he did. Kevin Moranz and Ryan Brees, also from row 2, on the podium. Somehow I got suckered into spending $100 on this thing, donating to the privateers. I think the total pot is like $115,000. I donated $100. I said I would do it for the last place guy. Robbie Wageman crashed bad, and I think he hurt his knee, so I'll probably have to send him $100. Maybe we'll make it $169 in honor of his number. And I got those crutches that I borrowed from Phil Nicoletti, so maybe I'll mail them out to Robbie. Get well soon, buddy. Checks in the mail via PayPal. Anyway, Kellen Brower is out there in Salt Lake. Let's send it to him.
Yeah, everybody, it's Kellen Brower here doing the Weege show right inside of Salt Lake City Rice-Eccles Stadium. For the 17th round of Monster Energy Supercross, we are on the floor. The PulpMX LCQ Challenge race just ended. You guys are going to see a couple interviews I did with the podium finishers of that race. We also are, of course, going to have some footage for you guys to show. Tom Journay, Wes Williams putting some stuff together that's going to go on Steve Matthes' PulpMX channels, so you guys can be on the lookout for that. But it was a pretty cool race. A lot of chaos. Unfortunately, a big crash there for Robbie Wageman, so we're going to check in on him and see how he's doing as well. But yeah, just really cool event so far. Awesome, so much money put up by Steve Matthes, Yamaha in this Privateer LCQ Challenge, and a lot of money won as well. So really kind of cool story all around to kind of kick off the weekend here. Aside from Wageman getting hurt, that's obviously the bummer, but yeah, we are off to the races here in Salt Lake City. It is the final round of the season, and we had a press conference today that, you know, was kind of like, let's get the top 3 in the 250, top 3 250 East and West, and then the top 8 in the 450 together, and we did a little press conference. And interestingly enough, there was like kind of a lot of, you know, little nuanced story details that came from that. Of course, the only championship that is still alive at this very moment is Christian Craig versus Hunter Lawrence for the 250 West crown. And in that situation, you know, Lawrence has to do all the catching up. It's an 18-point deficit. He pretty much just needs to win the race and I guess hope against hope that something happens to Christian Craig. Seemingly pretty unlikely, but Jet Lawrence did say in the press conference today that like kind of his sole focus coming into this weekend is to help out his brother Hunter Lawrence and try to win a championship for both of the brothers. It's going to be a long shot, like I said, but instead of just saying, you know, I'm going to go win the race or whatever, he says, yeah, I'm here to help H-Law try to get the dub. So pretty interesting little sentiments right there. And then when they asked Christian what his strategy was for the weekend, he's like, yeah, I'm not going to tell you because then these two guys behind me will pretty much know exactly what I'm going to be doing. So you could read into that if you want. Maybe he's going to play it a little bit safe. Of course, just has to finish 14th or better to win the title, which you could say Christian could do kind of in his sleep a little bit, but he, you know, has crashed away a lot of opportunities before. So it's not a foregone conclusion that this championship is done. And at least for Hunter Lawrence, he's going to go out, try to win that main event, and at least give himself a chance to end up on the top step at the end of the season. So that's kind of the story in the 250 class. The 450 class, the big storyline, of course, was that now newly crowned Monster Energy Supercross champion Eli Tomac suffered a knee injury to his MCL at the Atlanta Supercross several rounds ago. He's been nursing that and trying to just kind of fight through it down to the end of this championship, was able to get the championship, and is now going to skip the final round here in Salt Lake City to rest, recover, and try to get ready for Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. So no Tomac on the track, but he was here in the press conference today, and, you know, just kind of offered his thoughts about his season a little bit. It wasn't, you know, too many different details that we haven't already heard from with Tomac and all that. Someone did ask him who he thinks is going to win tomorrow night, because now he's in the unique position where he's not racing, so he can, you know, say who he really thinks is going to win. And he pretty much said it's going to be tough to beat Jason Anderson right now. Anderson has been really on a tear these last few weeks, and, you know, has been kind of chipping the points away from Tomac, but too little too late. Of course, Tomac gets the title around early. But the weird thing about this is that Anderson has the ability now to win the final race of the year, tie Tomac on points. They're gonna, or on wins, excuse me. They're each gonna have 7 wins on the season, and then when all is said and done, Anderson's only gonna be like, if he wins tomorrow night, he's only gonna be like, I don't know, I think it's 10 points back or something like that. So it's kind of one of those weird details where, yeah, like Tomac won this championship around early. He was, you know, the best rider all year long, really. But when we look back in the history books of this championship, it's gonna be kind of weird to see Jason Anderson only 10 points down with 7 wins on the season. It's going to be, you know, kind of looking like one of those things that the championship was a lot closer in the end than it really was. So kind of an interesting storyline, I guess, to follow there. There's not, you know, a whole lot left to play for in this championship finale, but, you know, Jason Anderson, he's going to try to win this last race of the year, go out on top, and, you know, carry that momentum into the outdoors. The title fight is still in play a little bit, is the battle for third in the championship in the 450 class between Malcolm Stewart, Justin Barsha, and Marvin Muscan. They're all relatively close together, not too far apart. Look, there's a man right here, Justin Barsha.
Salt Lake City, baby! Woo!
So he's feeling good. He's ready to go racing this weekend. And yeah, trying to get third place in this championship. It's been a bit of an up and down year so far for Barsha. Hasn't got a win, which is probably, you know, what he's really after to close this season out. But if he can still come home with a third place in the championship, I think that's going to be kind of a win within itself for Barsha this season, because, you know, he's had his ups and downs. He's been battling through, you know, a couple injuries or here and that, and has never really quite found that top level speed that I think he was really hoping to have this year. So to finish up third in the championship, I think would be a big deal for him, be a big deal for Malcolm Stewart as well, his best season of the year so far, and of course Marvin Muscan trying to you know, sneak in there late and get third in the championship as well. So close title fight there. Going to be kind of fun to see how that shakes down, but it's kind of it, really. PulpMX LCQ Challenge, a lot of fun there. The 250 West title fight's still alive, and maybe Jet Lawrence comes into play a little bit. And then that battle for third in the 450 championship still alive as well. Those are kind of your big storylines here in Salt Lake City. I'm going to send it back to Weege, and he's going to take over the Weege show from here.
Yeah, that's our show. And do you like that we coordinated? We both wore the blue plaid. Keege knows how to Weege. We'll see you tomorrow night.